And welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Is there a protected First Amendment right to give the middle finger to cops, to flip them the bird? I think I've done at least one video, possibly several on this. Well, just today a video popped up on YouTube. Somebody sent me a link to it showing a guy who was in, I think, Riverside, California, and apparently flips off a California Highway Patrol guy. That guy then turns around and follows him into a parking lot, and then this incident occurs in the parking lot. Take a look at the footage, and let's go over this yet again. Any reasonable police officer has to know, according to the case law, that a citizen who raises his middle finger engages in speech protected by the First Amendment. So all I know about this is what this guy put on his YouTube channel, and this is from Joshing You. I'll put a link to his channel in the description so you can see for yourself and watch for yourself the raw footage that he uploaded. But this is what he says. CHP officer Nico LeBeau got flipped off and did not like it. He chased me into a parking lot and attacked me. When I defended myself, I got charged with assaulting a police officer and resisting arrest. The judge says I'm, quote, going to answer for this. He then goes on to say, if you feel any sort of way about this, he gives the contact information to the Riverside, California Highway Patrol Station, and says that the captain is Levi Miller and his direct supervisor is Sergeant Rogers. So there's actually dash cam footage, which does not have any audio, and then there's the officer's body cam footage, which after a certain point does have audio. Here, the dash cam footage is important because it shows the guy passing by, Joshua, I guess his name is, passing by in his truck. You can't quite see him flipping the bird, but you can see the truck pass, and then immediately you see the officer wheel his cruiser around and quickly turn to follow him in response to whatever that police officer saw. And then he follows him in to this parking lot, immediately pulls in behind the guy and blocks him in when he parks into a parking spot and gets out of his cruiser.
Hello. Stay in your car. Stay in your car. What are you doing?
Okay, I mean, at this point we know what's about to happen. This is about to go south really quickly. So just first things first, the side of the road or in the middle of a traffic stop is not the place to argue constitutional law with police officers. The place to do that is with your lawyer after the fact and your lawyer taking them to court. So it's not a good idea ever to fight with the police on the side of the road. That's a separate issue over whether or not this was a legal or illegal stop. So as I've explained numerous times, all that's required for the police to stop you is reasonable suspicion that some crime or traffic offense has been committed. Now, if the undisputed facts are that this police officer saw this guy flip him the bird and he got angry and in retaliation for that, pulled in behind him and performed a traffic stop, a detention for no reason other than flipping him the middle finger, that is going to be unconstitutional. Now, that's a separate question than, well, what are the facts of this case? The protections of the First Amendment are not limited to spoken words, but they include gestures, expressive conduct, even conduct that is vulgar or offensive to some. For instance, it could be wearing a jacket with the words F the draft inside a courthouse. Okay, the gesture generally known as giving the finger, although widely regarded as an offensive insult, is generally protected under the First Amendment. Any reasonable police officer has to know, according to the case law, that a citizen who raises his middle finger engages in speech protected by the First Amendment, even though it's rude and offensive and they get really butthurt about it. So now the question is that what has happened here? Although I did have a prior video where the police officer admitted that that was the reason for a stop, and that was here in West Virginia, because he didn't know any better. Generally, police are smart enough to know that you're not supposed to admit that they're pulling you over because you flipped them the finger. They are going to follow you and come up with some other reason to stop you, or at least lie about doing so. So was that the case here? Actually, if you look at maybe in slow motion, or if you look at it closely when the truck is passing, although you can't see him flipping the finger, if I were this police officer or his lawyer, I would say if you look closely at that video, it sort of looks like he's going right of center over the white fog line. And then he sort of quickly comes across the lanes to make a left-hand turn into the shopping center. And when he does so, was he using his blinker? It's hard to tell from this video. I tried to look closely. That is going to be the intelligent way to defend against one of these if you're a police officer who likes to violate the Constitution and then get away with it. That's what I think the issues are going to be here, are the factual disputes about whether or not that was the reason for the stop, because generally police officers are not going to admit that.
Stay in your car.
What are you doing?
Get back in your fucking hands off.
So obviously what happens here is there is a use of force. The guy is physically resisting, and this officer takes him to the ground. And there's apparently another retired off-duty officer who's off to the side who then jumps into the fray and assists in the handcuffing. And there's also a lady, a third party, like an older Karen lady, who's watching off to the side. You'll see at the end, she comes up and she congratulates the officer and shakes his hand. But that's what happens here. They get him handcuffed, and now he's laying on the ground, and he's really pissed off.
Would you please stop fucking doing that
70208 to another unit's here. Stop doing what?
You attacked me, pal.
Yeah, when you got out of your car.
Yeah, when I got out of my car. What the fuck did I do? What did I do? Who attacked who?
You attacked the officer.
Bullshit. He came up to me.
You attacked the officer.
Bullshit.
I was standing right here.
Thank you. We're gonna walk to the back of the car.
Wait, do the motorcycle cops in California actually wear those uniforms? I thought that was just in the TV show from the 80s.
You better have a good reason for stopping me, bud.
Yeah, you have no plates on your vehicle, buddy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? And you think that's a crime?
And there we have it. This should have been the part where the guy said, you pulled me over for flipping you off, and you beat me up for flipping you off. And that's where the cop could have lied, or perhaps admitted it. But instead, he says, well, you had no plates on your car. And then the guy's like, well, yeah, I guess you're right, but that's not a crime. Not a great case for the guy who was going to basically fight the officer on that constitutional hill. Nothing was said about flipping the officer off. So what about the officer's claim that he pulled him over because of the lack of a license plate? It apparently is true. If you look at the truck, it does not have a license plate on it. I don't think in California they have front plates, do they? If they have front plates in California, then the officer could have seen from the front of the vehicle that he did not have a plate. But if you watch the footage, assuming there's not supposed to be a front plate, the officer already starts to turn immediately upon seeing the front and side of that vehicle. I don't think he could have seen the rear of the vehicle and the lack of a plate on the vehicle. So that would corroborate a later claim that the officer, in fact, performed an illegal stop in retaliation for a protected First Amendment activity.
California. Are you sure?
Sit down.
The reason to stop you.
It's that guy's phone.
I think so.
You okay?
Yeah. Freaking guy.
Oh, when your mag fell out, I'm like, oh shit, is he ever gone?
No.
I'm sorry.
It sounded to me like right there he was about to be like, you know, this guy flipped me off, whatever. Because sometimes they make the mistakes of discussing it after the fact, creating evidence that can be used against them to establish civil rights violations. But this guy, I think he started to, and then he thought the better of it because he remembered that his body cam was recording.
Oh, no, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your help. Appreciate it.
That lady says she'll give you a full statement.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm still shaking.
I need to get your info here in a second.
Yeah. That's okay, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, that was totally in the wrong. So quick, not do anything.
Thank you.
Here, just a second.
Merry
In a
Christmas.
sec, I need-
We'll have you hang tight for just a minute, okay?
I will.
So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'm sure there will be many more of these to come, but that's the law. There is a protected First Amendment right to flip the bird to police officers or other government officials, and they cannot use that as the basis for a detention for a traffic stop. But they can use it to have some motive to follow you and look for some other reasonable suspicion to detain you or some other probable cause to arrest you. Some of the defense I've heard from cops, some of the cop-splaining I've heard with this is, oh, so you think that you can go rob a bank, you just have to flip a cop off first and then you can break any law you want? No, of course not. But that's where they go with this. They say, oh yeah, you flipped me the bird, but then that just, you got the attention that you wanted. Then I started to follow you and I saw some other violation. So we have to look at the facts like we did in this case. Did he start to pull the guy over before he saw the other alleged reasonable suspicion? It does appear that he did that in this case. So it's good to review the body cam footage. It would also be nice to see the police report if that were available. I haven't seen it. As always, if you like going through these sorts of cases, please subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.